Good evening and welcome back to the class. After the amazing session of Professor Michael Freeby, we are here again to discuss about few of the other concepts which we are learning for this class. So first and first, some of the instructions I want to give for this week. So we finished Professor Michael Freeby's class, and some of the instructions I want to give for this week is complete at least 2 reviews of your friends' assignments. So right now I've assigned reviews you should be able to see in your canvas. After the class, take a couple of more days. You have a long weekend this week and you can go ahead and complete all the evaluations. So for few of them we have 2, for a few of them we have 4. It was automatically assigned by Canvas, and you can be genuine, see the rubrics, you use help of rubrics and do it. I'll show you right away how you can do it after some time, after this slide. And make sure you follow the rubrics rather than doing anything from your head, so that there'll be uniform evaluation for all of them. And most importantly, why you are evaluating your fellow colleagues, fellow students, is that you are also learning 2 more examples or 4 more or 8 more examples. So you wrote 2 examples of your own company which you selected, some couple of startups. You saw what went good and what went wrong. By doing evaluation of other students, you will also get to know what went good in that company and what went wrong. It is anonymous evaluation, which means that you won't get to know whom you're evaluating. So it will be fair evaluation. Plus, also ensure that you put some comment because it's just a couple of lines comment. If you can put about something else they could have thought of, or is there something which is lagging, and the comment will also be anonymous, so it won't really go. And it's not necessary that student from electronics will get only electronics students for evaluation. So I made it random evaluation so that even students from electronics can get medical electronics, telecommunication, electrical, or instrumentation, anything they want. And so for the final SCE, one more thing I want to warn you that you just completed is CIE. So one thing is your CIE is under evaluation every week while you're answering the assignments and while you're answering all the assignments. As of now, I see around 350 submissions of individual assignments. So rest 120, 130 students are yet to submit. Hopefully you'll submit by end of the day, but there'll be a little penalty for you guys for not submitting on time. And coming back to final semester and examination, you have 2 components. This is just a reminder. We had discussed this in detail in the first class, but the reminder is you have to write a technical paper. So just go and Google IEEE format of your paper and try to organize your assignments, what you are doing till now, into a technical paper, such that maybe end of the semester you are able to submit to one of the conference or one of the journal paper, and whatever your learnings. Don't think that whatever you are doing the research, it's actually research. You are doing something existing, you are putting some add-on value to that. And next thing is you will also be doing some evaluation, will happen by sharks. I'll let you know what sharks are. Many of you might be knowing, and you have to start preparing so that you have sufficient time. We will be scheduling in January first week or December end based on the schedules of all the people. So we'll have multiple evaluators. I'm at least aiming to have around 15 evaluators who will be really well versed with entire thing, because all my alumnus from MIT, my classmates from MIT, I'll be inviting them so that they're familiar with the steps and they will be knowing what are the terms which we are trying to use in this class. And next week assignment will be from step 11 to step 17. We'll try to cover 17 steps by today. So before that, it's time for you to actually go and check on few things before I actually go and give you some insights about how you will do the evaluation. So let me go and show you how you are able to do the evaluation as a student. I'm not sure if it will pop up as a student, but let me go to student view here. And so what I'm supposed to do is, yeah, peer review. If you go on the right side, you should be able to see the peer review. Click on that. And because I didn't set up any peer review for you guys, I guess, for the student section. So don't worry about it. Let me go to the assignments. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer. So go to individual case write-up. Okay, once you submit the assignment, you should be able to see the peer review. So what you have to do is you have to just go and click on these rubrics. So if I click on this rubrics, if they have done one page submission, they'll get 2 points. If they've written about successful startup, covered all the aspects in the questions, these are the questions. If they've covered, then they'll get 3.5 marks. Failure of startups, they'll get 3.5. On time submission, if all of you have submitted before this class started today, which means that you'll get full points. If you have submit anytime between after the class or during the class may not be possible, but after the class, by end of tonight, then you'll get zero point 0.6. If you submit tomorrow, you'll get 0.4. If you submit later, you will get 0 marks out of it. So you'll be losing some marks if you don't. That's like a penalty for you guys. So you have to just click on this on particular rubrics. It will automatically calculate total. You have to click on save, and there's an option to give comment also. Okay, so please do that. Don't forget to do the peer evaluation. I'll keep on reminding till I have all the evaluations done. So you know what to do now. Let's go to Clap, and I have really interesting questions for you guys to actually you would have seen the questions. So what you are supposed to do is go here, go to wooclap.com IFE2810, and smart people, I've seen a lot of them have already joined even before I have wooclap.com slash IFE 2810, 28th October. So click on go, and you have to give your name. After you give your name and click on let's play, I see 63 people of you. I'll give you another maybe 20 seconds for you to join. Please go and join this particular website and then give your name. You should be able to see one BMSE logo, and just wait for the first question to pop up on the screen. I see 90 people, 93 people. Please do it fast. Come on, guys, do it fast. I've framed really interesting questions for you guys to actually test. Okay. Okay, I see many of you have already joined. Let's start the quiz. All your eyes on the screen, and so I see 139, 140 people. Come on. So I'll start off, let others join as and when possible. So let's go with the first question on the screen. So you can see the first question, right? How many steps do we have in disciplined entrepreneurship? I'm sure this is the easiest question. You have to click on the answer and say submit. And I see many of you are answering 24, 23, 20, any number. Okay. What do you think is the right answer? Majority wins, right? So 24 steps. There are 10 people who say that it's 25, 23, 20, any number. So you should be really concentrating in the class. By this time, you should have realized we had 24 steps. I've shown you a lot of them. So this is the correct answer. 111 people, 82% of them. So congratulations for people who have answered correctly. I'm sorry for people who have not answered correctly. So this is not okay. So please concentrate in class and understand what we are trying to do. Let's go to the next question. Very important and very interesting question if you ask me. Which of the following do you watch online? Is it Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney, Hotstar, Z5, Geo Cinemas, others? Or you don't even answer. You can do you can give multiple answers if you want. It's left to you guys. If you ask me, I watch all of them except television. So I connect my TV to internet and then watch. So which one do you all of you watch? So this is really good. There are few people who still like TV, which is good. Okay, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney, Hotstar, Z5, Geo Cinemas, others. 156 people have answered out of 165. That's amazing. So I get to know a lot of you watch Amazon Prime, which is majority in India. And many of you also watch equally Netflix and Disney plus Hotstar. Some of you watch Z5, some of them watch Geo Cinemas. So good. Why did I ask this question? I have a connected question. The next one on the screen. Have you watched Shark Tank? I'm sorry, not A. Have you watched Shark Tank? Okay. No, I haven't. I haven't heard of it, but haven't. I have heard of it, but haven't watched it. Okay, so this is really good. One of the series which is going on, and there are almost 10 seasons which has completed. It's Shark Tank. It's like you go in front of sharks. Sharks are nothing but investors who actually right away invest based on the inputs what you give. You just Google Shark Tank. Maybe you should be definitely able to see. Okay, there are 12 seasons. Yeah, right, Rishika. So 12 seasons in that 10 seasons you can find in Amazon Prime. Netflix also has seasons. So just Google. YouTube has many seasons which is released. So just go and watch that. I am telling you to watch that because it's proper show for entrepreneurs to learn. So getting into Shark Tank on that stage, it's a reality show. It's a real show. You just go there on the platform and say that, hey, listen, this is my idea. They'll pitch very nicely, very systematically. So exactly similar is what we are going to do in the final exam for this class. So you will go, and then think tank also is one more thing what Michael Freeby was telling today. So go there, go to Shark Tank, check the episodes, at least check 4 5 episodes to get a hang out of it, and you should be doing something similar to the investor. So I'll tell investor, I'll give the rubric saying how much are you willing to invest in their company and how much. So you should have an ask, and you should also say how many dollars. I'll prepare you for pitch, don't worry about it. So instead of using any props or just physically, you have to use slides, and I'll tell you what all the contents of the slides. So if you haven't watched, it's the time, high time you start watching Shark Tank. Okay, next one is, which movie have you watched related to entrepreneurship recently? Or any other time? Do you think of any movie which comes to your phone? Okay, The Founder, I see. Okay. The Founder is McDonald's, I guess. Okay, some of them are saying none and things like that. Googly, Bazaar. Internship. Okay, internship is really good. That's like a little, I mean, very nice old man coming and pursuing his internship in a startup. So it's good. Yeah. Okay, if you haven't nothing yet, I'll share this list what your friends are putting it here, and you can definitely go and watch those movies. So okay, I have the last question for you guys. Okay, yeah. So I see that there are many of the people who are doing. Okay, just a second. Yeah. So I see that many of you are putting even the local Bangarada Manusha. Okay, fine. So you're putting the local movies also. I mean, Hollywood, Bollywood, and others also. I'll just share this list with you guys. So this is one more assignment for you, non-graded. Just go and watch movie, have stress buster after your CIE, and a lot of assignments which we have for innovation for entrepreneurship. I have a last very important question. I hope you answer this correctly, and it's on the screen. How many steps in discipline entrepreneurship we have completed till now, till last class before your internals? Some of you are telling 14, some of you are telling 10, 11. For people who have attended before have telling 10. Many of you are telling 14. So majority wins don't answer by what is there in the screen. So just answer how many steps we have completed. Some only 10 steps. Okay, I'm not asking about the assignments. I'm asking about how many steps we have completed in class. In assignments, I see, yes, we have completed 10 steps, but not everywhere. Okay, somebody is giving Shark Tank Australia is best. Yeah, so go ahead and watch Shark Tank. Trust me. Yeah, somebody is saying it's an amazing show, especially for this course. Yeah, I totally agree. Fine, we have maximum people answered. We'll close the poll now. Let's see the right answer. According to me, we have completed 14 steps. 60% of you have answered correctly. Thanks for that. So let's stop and exit and go back to our slides. And let me share slides. Okay, so while the slides pop up, so if you remember what are the steps. So it's more like by the end of the session, you should be, end of this course, you should be almost by hearted all the steps, whichever is on your, on disciplined entrepreneurship. Yeah. So this is what I was trying to say. Your final SCE will be technical paper, 25 marks, and evaluation by Shark. Sharks are nothing but experts will come and evaluate entire your steps, whatever you have pursued. And it will be around 10 slides, whatever you learned in this big semester of almost 3 months, you'll be concising in 10 slides in 7 minutes of time, which is really, really tough. And I'll train you how to do that in future, maybe last class. Okay, so let's go to the discipline entrepreneurship steps 15 to 17 about business model, pricing framework, calculating LTV. In this class, we'll be learning a lot of calculations in terms of LTV. I won't be doing the calculations right here, but I'll be giving you worksheets, Excel sheet where you can do the calculations. I'll give you some templates where you have to do the calculations. I will be sharing it along with your assignments, maybe end of the day, so that you can start working on it. Don't put too much stress on what you're supposed to do or during that. So that's something which you need not worry at this point of time. So if you see what all steps we have completed market segmentation. You segment into different markets. In that, you select one powerful market which you can reach very early is beachhead market, and you find out end user profile. That is a profile of your customers, general profile, how you do. And based on your beachhead market, you come up with TAM, total addressable market size, which will be in terms of dollars. And then you find out one person who's a real person who is known as persona. Then you go to life cycle use case. How does your customer sees your entire life cycle of use case, entire product from starting from coming across the product till buying and then retaining and things like that. High level specification, how does your product look like? High level specification. Quantifying value proposition, how will you quantify the value? For example, if you're working on something before, how people used to perceive, and right now how they are perceiving after introducing your product. Next 10 customers, identifying next 10 customers, all of you have done that. Defining core of your company, core of your product. What is that nobody can copy? It can be IP, it can be some business model, it can be anything which nobody can copy, and only your company can does that. Amazing customer experience can be core, like Amazon. And chart competitive positioning, you put two. This is the, from this onwards you are starting your assignments for this week. You'll have charting competitive position on x-axis. You put priority 1, on y-axis you put priority 2, and see that you place all the logos of your competitors and yourself. You should be something which will be differentiator compared to others. You are solving both the priorities, so you'll be on the right top in your graph. Determining DMU, decision making unit. There is veto power, there is primary influencer, there are secondary influencer. How will they influence is what you have to identify. Map customer acquisition process. How will the product be acquired? This is totally different from what you are trying to do in life cycle use case. Here, how will he acquire? Who are the people who will help them to acquire is what you are trying to see. Follow on time will skip for your assignments. You need not worry because the calculations involve a lot of things. As of now, we'll not worry about follow on time. Your actual time for beachhead market is very important. So follow on time. After you acquire follow-up markets, the next few markets and next 10 customers and things like that, then what will be your time? Business model is what we are going to discuss right now. How will you decide what business model you are trying to do? So what is business model? Designing a business model is very important. Most importantly, if you design your business model at the starting point, or at this point of time, after completing 14 steps, after that changing will be really tough. You can't change your business model, so you should spend good amount of time, spend good amount of intellectual to actually come up with the business model. So amount of time spent on creating value innovation is very important. Amount of time spent on value capture innovation is very less. So what you're thinking, so it should be balanced what you're supposed to do. And most importantly, see, there are few terms which we'll be introducing today, which will be very often used in Shark Tank, if you have seen that series, and or if you're going to watch later. So designing a business model, what does it give? Examining existing model across industries for capturing some of the value your product brings to your customer. You should understand what your competitors are bringing and how you can be differentiator by giving a very better business model. Use the work you have done in other steps. Whatever you have done from previous 14 steps, that will really help you in your 15th step. So example can be, if you have Google has very simple steps. So if you see Google, which has very simple text-based ads, and that's their business model. That's interesting, right? So they have their business model, which is based on text. And next thing, if you see here is, okay. So if you see once settled, you can't change it. That's what I've been telling you from whenever I spoke about business model. So let's see the types of business model which we have captured in one particular slide. If you fit in one of the business model, this is where you have to pick and write about why you think this business model is best. That's what will be there in your assignment. So what is business model before that? So business model, as I said, it's the way how you sell your product and make money. Very simple words. Okay, I'll give you some examples, then you'll really correlate why we are talking about business model and why is it important. So one time upfront charge is first one. So plus maintenance. What is one time upfront charge? So what you do is, if you want to buy something, you'll be have a non-recurring cost. For example, you buy one mobile phone. Okay, this is my mobile phone which you are trying to buy, and if you take this mobile phone, you are paying one time upfront charge of say 50,000, 20,000, 30,000, and then afterwards you are maintaining, plus maintenance may be possible, like once you have 2 years, 3 years, you have to maintain it, get it serviced and things like that. Your printer, your computer, and so on and so forth. Software as service, so SaaS, for example, there are some softwares which you'll give, like MATLAB, we pay MATLAB licensing. We pay for, it's a software which you're using as service. There are many examples, many of them which you use on your mobile phones as softwares or apps as service. SaaS is one of the famous business model, especially in India and US also, because a lot of boom is there in terms of softwares. So next is licensing. Again, MATLAB has this licensing concept. They give out license to individual. So I'm using Adobe, like Photoshop or any of them. So Adobe Creative Cloud, I purchased it. So I have license for 1 year. I have licensed it. Only if I have license, I put some code, then only I'll be able to do it. Subscription or leasing is another one. You lease for some time or subscribe for 1 year. For example, whatever we discussed just now, Amazon Prime, your Netflix, all of them are subscription based. Shared savings. So it's more of an important kind of a payment strategy that offers incentives for providers, entities to reduce healthcare spending as defined by patient population. So it's more like any net savings which you do, and in that you will be sharing some of the percentage of it. Consumables, this is one of the famous model, which is also called as razor blade model or just consumables. So for example, if you take sim card is free, you don't need to pay anything, but the way you spend on the consumables, that is per month, you'll be spending maybe 500 rupees, 300 rupees, or for 3 months 600 rupees, things like that. Operating and maintenance costs. So you operate something and maintain it, and for that you will be, patients will be paying. Cost plus is they have paid for something. And for example, if you go purchase an Activa or any other two-wheeler, they say accessories, this, you have to buy it. They won't give you even side stand. So for that you have to pay extra. They won't give you number plate, you have to pay extra. So all this are cost plus. Upsell, high margins, add-on. So there are some, this again, something similar to Activa, what we discussed. Advertising is another one. So like Google, how it does, your Facebook, how it does, you're not paying anything for that. But for advertisement, people are paying. Transaction percentage. So people do some transaction, like Explorer is there, or town script and things like that. They charge per percentage on transaction. Freemium models, we are very used to freemium models. For example, Zoom right now, the platform which we are using, having a premium version I have, but not all of you have premium version. So you have freemium version, which means that there are very limited features which are for free. If you want 300 people to come on the single platform, then you need to pay some additional charges which will be little expensive. So free people recording is there, all those things are there, but breakout rooms may not be there and things like that. And power cell phone plan or power purchase agreement in energy, so PPA they call this. Also very important kind of agreement, which is it's a contract between two parties that you do something, I'll do something, and then we'll share some kind of things. It's also called a cell phone plan, which means that you do some outgoing. You know how cell phone towers. So if you're calling from Airtel to Geo, what is the difference? Airtel to Idea, Airtel to Vodafone. So how are they making money? If I'm doing outgoing, how is Vodafone making money if I am an Airtel customer? Okay. So utility model, per usage model. So how much you use, like your current bill, your water bill, how much you use, based on that you will try to. Franchisee model. So there are franchisee. McDonald's is one of the KFCs and so on and so forth. It's a franchise, how they're looking. Microtransaction, the small transactions they take very small money out of it and they charge you. Parking meter is another one. Credit card, all of you have, I mean, all of your parents might be having credit card, but it's good to have credit card. It's nice to have credit card. You can spend however you want, but if you don't pay the fees, if you don't pay the amount, credit card bill on time, they'll start charging you so high that almost, if once I forgot to pay and things happened, they charged almost like a bomb for me. So 18% per month, not annum, which your banks are giving. So that's really a parking meter, it's called, or a hourly rate. So used for so many hours, like for example, let's say Zoom, you're using for 1 hour, then you have to pay this much and so on and so forth. And over the counter is another one. In others, like you go pay over the counter, only that margin you'll get it. There's one famous model which comes under somewhere, many of them out of here, what you're trying to see on the slide. It's called razor blade model. What is razor blade model? Razor blade model is like your printer. Printer is exact. So in my home, if you see, I have 5 printers, 5. I am not sure if it'll be, I have the expensive one, which is a huge one, like a Xerox machine, which you see in the stores. And also I have a smaller one, but I end up using only the smaller one because the way the amount I have invested on the expensive one is almost like 50-60,000, but the printouts I get is 10,000. After that, I have to again buy a cartridge, which is very expensive. So I have to pay for the cartridge. That's called razor blade model. It's like razor and blade. Blade, you need to pay time and again. So your recurring cost is very high. This is one of the famous model, especially in medtech. Many of you are doing medtech projects, so medical devices or medical companies, if you're doing this, razor blade is very famous. So if you see out of these things, I see the famous one is one-time upfront charge, software as service, razor blade model, licensing, and I see that a freemium model, transaction percentage. Okay, these are very famous models. Advertising is there, but that's not that famous, except the big people like Make My Trip and so on and so forth to that. What do you think, does it make really a difference for you to actually your business model? So business model, it's very important that iTunes, Google, Salesforce, biggest company for CRM. If you don't know, you have to check that. So as we speak, I'm not sure, when I visited US last year, that was the tallest building in San Francisco. So they are very, very, very CRM based company. You have to just check how the company works, and getting placed there is really tough. And then Blockbuster, LinkedIn, Army Street, Datel and Gillette, Hewlett Packard, HP, Electronic Stores, Intralex, many of them are there. It really makes difference the way their business model is. Okay. Considerations, what you have to see is customer's perspective, attacker versus defender. So see what your customer thinks. How is he willing to pay rather than how you are trying to extract money. Okay. There are 2 ways you define your business model. One is attacker and one is defender. Attacker is nothing but you say that you have to buy this. If not, you will end up doing these things. What is defender type is, see, these many people are not using my product. So if you use my product, you'll become good. So this is attacker versus defender. Attacker is, you just say that buy my product, these are the advantages. Defender is, see, that fellow is not using my product, and if you use my product, you'll be having. So it's more like a defending, you're defending yourself. Lifetime value of customer, this is very important. How many years or how many days will your customer be there with you? For example, if you see a school, how many days the customer, that is the students, will be there. For a school, it's 10 years. Or maybe if it is only high school, it's 3 years. So it depends on how much lifetime value they will be with you for sure. That's your lifetime value. And DMU and DMP, you know what is DMU and DMP? DMU is decision making unit, and DMP is uh, DMP is decision making process. And maturity of product, how mature is your product, how people are accepting it, and your financial resources. Okay, there are few people who just make very less money, for example 1% of their margin. There are few people who make 80% of their margin. Medtech products usually have 80% of margin. You know, usually they use 3x 4x kind of whatever investment or whatever the cost price of the product versus selling price will be 3x 4x, things like that. So what are the key elements you should think? You should think about your customer, competition, distribution, and your value capture. What is your actual value? So can you identify what are the business models here? What are the business models here? HP, let's take HP printer. What kind of business model do you think? You can type on chat window. Are you guys there? Okay, razor model, perfect. Automotive companies, what do you think is automotive companies doing? Like for example, your cars, your lorries and things like that. Let's jump to, yeah, one time upcharge. Yeah, kind of okay. What do you think about LinkedIn? LinkedIn, what do you think about LinkedIn? What kind of model do they have? Advertisement, yeah. And also SaaS, yes. Advertising, SaaS. Don't you think they also do freemium version? Yeah, exactly. So I see that answer. So here are the answers. HP razor blade or razor blade model. It's cheap product, costly consumables. Automotive, high investment, low recurring, except Tesla, who do not update their models very frequently. Salesforce is a SaaS for the subscription. It's for CRM. LinkedIn is advertising. You have premium subscription, and reselling data to recruiters is another thing what they do. So recruiters also pay and you also pay. iTunes one-time charge model, Spotify monthly recurring fee. So these are few of the examples. You can also find out if you want Ola, how is that they will make money? Uber, how does that make money? Flipkart, Amazon. So think about it. What are the business model? So right now, I guess all of you understand what do you mean by business model. Now, let's next go to pricing framework. This is very important. You would have seen this people talking about this in especially in Shark Tanks. So pricing framework, they'll ask you LTV, they'll ask you things like that. So what is pricing framework? Improving pricing can have big effect on profit, but be patient until market matures and you have enough info. Don't just go ahead and make your pricing framework. So what do you mean by pricing framework? Determine a framework to test pricing for your new product and make decision on what the initial price will be. Don't go ahead and start selling your product with very high price. Okay, that's one of the mistake which people do. Or very low price that afterwards people start buying it and you will end up having loss. Determine a framework to test pricing for your new product. I'll give you some of the examples in the next slides. Why the small changes in pricings can have a huge impact on your profitability, because number of people and things like that. More. Now that you have business model, it's time for your initial pricing decisions. Again, always look at this from the customer's perspective. Don't think that it's for you. Talk to your customers, ask them how much you are willing to pay, or ask them, this is the product which is available, how much you're willing to pay, what kind of payment you want. You want freemium version, we'll give you these things, but for this you have to pay and things like that. See, many of them use Zoom, But say, for example, here 500 students we have in the class. In 500, 499 people are using free version of Zoom, but I'm the only one who is paying and using it, which means that though they are getting very less kind of people, but still I am forced to use it. If I want only 100 people limited time, then I can use Zoom. But if I want 500 people, then I have to use some kind of jugaad I have to do. So basic pricing concept, cost shouldn't be a factor in deciding price, rather value is. So your cost shouldn't be. So if somebody is buying it, don't think in terms of cost. I know Indians, we do that, but still, what is the value you're getting? So if you're using Amazon Prime, you're seeing what are the offers. I'm using the free version of Amazon Prime. Actually, I have taken my friend, so we have paid together and we are using together. So many of you would have done that. So what is the value they're getting rather than the price? Use DMU, the process to acquire a paying customer, to identify key price points, understand the price of customers alternative. So if you're using Uber, what is the price? So we do that, right? We go online, we check Uber and Ola, we see which are the easier, which one actually gives you more money, and then you will reject that and you go in Ola or Uber, depending on the pricing. So different types of customer will pay different prices. So technological enthusiastic, they do pay different price. Early adopters, they pay different. Early majority, that is pragmatic, they pay. Late majority conservatives, laggards or skeptics. So somebody who is skeptical, they may pay different price. So each one of them will pay different. Somebody who love gaming, they don't mind spending a lot of money on their computers. But if you ask me, I'm not a gamer, so I may not spend so much of money for my computer. So be very careful when you're deciding who is your customer persona. Be flexible with pricing for early testers and lighthouse customers. What are lighthouse customers? Are someone who is like premium, or the one person like your persona and team of people, and your early testers. It is always easier to drop the price rather than raise the price. Okay, so have little more than what you're expecting. Later you drop it, then people will rush and take it. That's what many of them do that, right? This is one of the testing really think. This is really very good testing. It's called A/B testing. I'll give you two scenarios. Scenario one, online subscription $59 per year. Print and online subscription is $125 per year. So if you see this, just two things. If you give 30% of, choose option two. But if you see scenario two, online subscription is $59 per year. Print and online is $125 per year. Print subscription only $125 per year. So if you see this, what do you think? Why do you think people will choose 60% of them use option two? Why is that? Because you're giving the third option. If you see here both the options and both the scenarios are same. But why people choose third option is it's relative. So whenever you're thinking, even whenever you do that kind of grading or anything, or you try to judge someone, you do relatively see, okay, my sister is like that, my brother is like that, my friend is like that, but this fellow can't be my friend because my friend should be like this. So always relative things always work. That's called as A/B price testing. I hope all of you got this. This is a very interesting concept which all of you should try to understand. Okay, next is all of your max. This is real max, but all the calculations will be done by your Excel sheet. You have to just enter some numbers. So I'll give you the numbers, what you're supposed to enter. You have to enter your numbers, but I'll give you sufficient examples so that you can come up with what kind of LTV you should have. So if the LTV does not equal to 3 times the COCA, none of this matters. What is COCA? Cost of customer acquisition. So there are two concepts we are learning today: lifetime value and cost of customer acquisition. Both of them we'll see right now. So add up the revenue that you can expect to receive from an individual customer. Discount the revenue based on how much it will cost you to repay investors over time. This is very important. See, all the startups or majority of the startups will not flourish without investors, and investments will be in huge. It will go up to $100,000, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crore. There are companies which raise up to 20 crore, 100 crores and things like that. So why LTV? LTV is, can you acquire customer at a cost that is substantially less than their value will be your new venture over the customer's lifetime. What is this? We'll understand in some time. Okay, so lifetime value of a customer is one time state. So you have to input all these things. So I have made an Excel sheet. I'll share it with you. You'll understand better. I'll also demo you after some of these slides. is one-time revenue stream, if any, recurring revenue stream, if any. If you have understood business model, this should be able, you should be able to answer. Additional revenue opportunities, for example, few of them may actually try to take side stand. Few of them will say, no, I'll go to Kalaspalli and get a newer one rather than buying from the showroom. Gross margin for each of your revenue streams is something which you have to think. Retention rate, you have to see life of a product. Retention rate is very important. Are you able to retain your customers for sufficient time? Life of a product is another one. How much time your product? So if you take a car, the product maybe around 5 years, 6 years. If you take mobile phones, 2 years, 3 years. So all those things you should think in terms of a general maximum customers, how much time they will take or they'll have your product. Cost of capital rate for your business, cost of getting money from your investors also should be included. So how will you calculate is how much a new customer is worth to your venture over the lifetime with you. For example, if a new customer comes, how much profit, how much worth he's bringing to the company is what you should be considering. So it should be gross margin, cost of capital, retention, as I said, all those things. So I'll come to Scott's law. I'll show you in some time. For example, I've given an example. One-time revenue is 10K, recurring revenue is gross margin and maintenance, retention, life of a product, next product purchase rate, how much percent, cost of capital rate. Okay, don't worry much. If you, I'll show you the Excel sheet, you will understand a little more about it. So main things you shouldn't miss is the business model decision. LTV is about profit and not non-revenue. Okay, it's not about how much turnover you have. It's about the profit which you can make. Overhead costs aren't negligible. There may be sometimes you will think that overhead cost is something. Overhead are nothing but some of the costs which you think right now, today, the cost of your raw product is 100 rupees. Tomorrow, it may become 110. That 10 rupees will also make big difference. Retention rates are important. Don't neglect your retention. If you're not retaining your customer, which means that you're not doing good business. Finding additional real upselling opportunities can be attractive. Okay, so I'll give you another 2 steps, then I'll go to the Excel sheet. So sales process and COCA. So what do you mean by sales process? So you should map your sales process, which means that whatever steps you have done till now, how will you do your sales? You'll hire an expert who will do the sales. You'll outsource it to some agents who will do sales for you. You'll sell it on Amazon. You'll sell on your website, all those things. But what are the possibilities of selling? So you have internet, which is low cost, self-serve model, high volume product sales, and marketing driven. So internet marketing, digital marketing is again a big course which all of you can think of. There are many free courses which if you are interested, you can go and check. So inside is something which you will do on yourself. That is lowest cost human touch model, inbound and outbound marketing, increasing good for enterprises. So what is inside, sales process is you will sit inside your company and you will do it. You do everything by yourself. There is no channel or on internet. You do like one by one, like many of them in SP Road or in market. If you go and see, those people follow this. Channel is nothing but fast track geographic coverage, low investment and limited customer contact. What is channel? Through some channel. What is your channel? It can be Amazon, it can be Flipkart, it can be something online which many of them use. It can be OLX and things like that. What is field? Field is direct customer feedback, expensive, sell high ASP as products. So very important is if you see internet, it's easier nowadays. Everything runs on internet, especially after pandemic. Inside is also okay. Channel and field. Field is very important, which was very traditional way of LTV, but now field has also gone. Okay. Now nobody goes door to door. Even before COVID also, not many people used to go to door to door. If you see the dictionaries, what people marketing executive comes. So all those things doesn't really work the way you are thinking. Okay. So there was a survey which was done, all companies, what kind of sales or what kind of things will work. Many of them said that mixed type is what it will work. Field sales 41%. This was much before 2015. But now if you see, this graphs would have changed. I couldn't get the recent graph, but you can check it on later. When you map your sales process, there are three things you should define. What is your short term, what is your medium term, and what is your long term? For example, short term is like direct sales. First time, maybe short term can be depending on what kind of product. First 1 year, first 6 months, first 3 months, first 1 week also, that can be short term, depending on what kind of product you are doing. So it will be using word of mouth, it will be using your website, little bit of marketing and things like that. That is your short term. What is medium term? Medium term will have direct sales, like what you are having 100% before, later you will reduce it. And maybe regional exclusive wars, which means that you will go and through your channels, you go to regions and try to sell it. Long term should be everything. The direct sales should reduce because one-to-one customer you need not. You already have customer. You should just market and give them the product. So these are three things you will also define your sales process. Okay, and apply your situation now and ask all these questions. So I will put many of these questions. I'll give you a nice table, very easy table to fill so that you understand this entire mapping process. The last step which we are going to discuss today is COCA, cost of customer acquisition. Cost of customer acquisition, as the name suggests, COCA, cost of customer acquisition. How much amount you're spending for your customer acquisition. It is usually, if you see nowadays, it goes maximum for your customers through digital marketing or any kind of marketing. Marketing takes you much of money. This is an investment which will go on peak whenever you're in short-term goal of your LTV, what we have seen in the previous slide. You saw in this slide, right? So sales process, when you're doing it, they showed that in the direct sales short term, because you're trying to acquire your customers, you need really a lot of money for this. So cost of customer acquisition in short term will be very high. Very high is like almost 100 times, and you will be not making any profit for this. Okay, whereas if you go to medium and long term, it will reduce it drastically. It will become almost like very minimal, but you still have to do marketing. It's not that, even though Amazon is so famous, but they still do marketing, but the amount of money they make is too high versus what they spend on marketing. So let's go back to the slide. Yeah, so my COCA is $10, mine is $5. My COCA is more awesome than yours. It's not the way how you decide your COCA. If you're spending less money, which means that you are you are making more profit. No, you should always have, you should always have in your, in your company, more of COCA depending on how much you do it. So there is relationship between COCA and LTV. LTV is profit. Remember, COCA is how much investment you're doing. It's not loss, but investment you're doing. So if you see LTV, that is lifetime value of your customer, the amount you're making, it will slowly increase over the years. But COCA, the amount of investment at the starting which you do is very high, which will drastically reduce at the end of your, company coming to stability with the model. So initially you'll be spending a lot of money, pumping in a lot of money so that you acquire customers. Once you acquire customers, you should just retain them. For that, you don't need so much of money the way you're doing acquisition. Okay, while you're deciding your COCA, while you're actually calculating COCA, consider all these things: salaries of salespersons, time you and other non-salespersons spend on sales, commissions, bonuses which you give, travel and entertainment. What do you mean by travel and entertainment? So which means that you can give, like many of the medical representatives you have seen, they will give some perks. Bank employees get some perks. For example, if they give loan for 100 people in that financial year, then they get free sofa. If they give for 200, they get one Singapore trip and things like that. So these are the expenses which is almost like which is COCA and which is for sales. It's not for it's not considered as loss. It's profit you are making. That's why you're spending on it. And this will be very high in initial years. Next is marketing. Marketing, sales of marketing, benefit, bonus, time you and other non-marketing, website, social media, advertising, trade shows, public relations, consultants, so on and so forth. So all this you have to consider while you're charting your COCA. So it is very important to view COCA over time. It will start out very high and it will drain to zero, almost zero at the end of it. It won't be zero, but it will like towards zero. So initially it will be very high, your profit will be very less, later it will increase. So whenever you do, you have to plot a graph LTV versus COCA. This is what is interesting for all of you to do. That is plot your dollars for both of them versus time. Over time, your COCA and LTV. So LTV have to increase exponentially usually, and then your COCA should decrease at some curve. Okay, very important. So COCA key factors, as I said, direct sales versus telesales, how much money you will make, high touch versus automated. So if you're doing one-to-one versus automated, conversion rate. So if you are having 100 people, you have approached 10 people, come 10% is conversion rate. Cost of leads, if somebody is giving you lead. So Facebook, if you're doing some kind of marketing, LinkedIn, if you're doing marketing, they give you leads. That quality of leads, are they good number of people? So recently we are also running one campaign on Facebook, and we got 150 people who hit our web page and saw that. In that 150, if I see the quality is very bad, so I thought, okay, let me shift to LinkedIn, not Facebook, even though it's little expensive. Word of mouth, how much it will actually contribute. Moving them down through the sales funnel, design of your business model and focus decreases sales cycle. So underestimates headcounts required to sell and market. Don't underestimate. Have a handful of people to do the marketing. As I said, it's investment you're doing, not loss. Overestimate sales productivity. Does not consider her his own cost in the calculation. Underestimates a cost of personal. Okay, one important thing is you should make sure that your COCA passes the sniff test. What is sniff test is nothing but it's one of the tests which will give you from your common sense. So use your common sense. That's why it's called sniff test. So it's like more like gut feeling that yes, this much money, if I invest, I'll get this much. So that gut feeling you have to come up with and then do that sniff test before you come up with a huge number to invest in COCA. Okay. So these are the things which you have to be doing, and I'll be giving you some of the worksheets. I'll make the worksheets very simple for you so that you will come up with the right answers which is required. Okay. So all these things you need not worry. And one important thing before we go on to these worksheets of LTV and also with the COCA worksheet. So very important is you should have reduce your COCA over the years. It's not that initially you'll invest very high over the years. Be careful, use direct sales judiciously as it is very expensive. Direct sales are very, very effective and expensive also. If you go talk to people saying, do this, people will be convinced rather than seeing your website or doing any telemarketing and things like that. But it is very expensive. So over the years, you should reduce it. Automate as much as possible. It will reduce your work. Improve conversion rate, decrease the cost of leads and improve the quality of leads. As I said in the previous example, it's very important. Speed through the sales funnel. Make sure that you, whatever sales funnel, I'll just show you that sales funnel which we are talking. Yeah, this is a sales funnel. First is awareness, find their interest, consideration, intent, evaluation, purchase. This is your sales funnel. Very important. So for few of them at the previous days, now the sales funnel is marketing is a huge one. Sales is just purchase, evaluation, and purchase. Previously, people used to consider and also put, but nowadays things have changed. Your sales funnel is first you bring awareness, interest, you kindle the interest, considerate, intent, evaluation, purchase. You have to go through these process for each of your customer to actually come up with the proper one. And yeah, speed to the sales funnel. Choose your business model with COCA in mind. Whenever you're choosing your business model, cost of customer acquisition, you have to think. Word of mouth, stay focused on target market. Don't go into one thing. First thing we realized in our class was stay focused. Okay, so let's discuss the Excel sheet. So let me stop sharing the screen for a while and open the Excel sheets for you guys. Meanwhile, I'll give you like 2 to 3 minutes break if you have any questions to answer. After that, we'll go ahead and do it. Show you what are the things you should look on. Any questions? No questions? Okay, can you say, are you there, or can you just type yes, no, something like that, so that I'll understand that you guys are there? Okay, present, wonderful. Okay, so, okay, I have one Excel sheet which you are supposed to do ready, and I'll also open some of the examples to show you. Okay, I got the second example. And I should also show you COCA example, right? Yeah. So, oh, one more thing I should bring up is your deliverables. Okay. So no questions. Oh, so many yes I've got. That's good. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen so that you can see what are the deliverables I'm looking at. Yeah. So for this is the deliverable for this week. I hope you are able to see the screen. So team name, department, problem you're trying to solve, and competitive positioning. I hope you know competitive positioning. I'll repeat it again. Plot one of them on your x-axis and plot one of them on your y-axis. X-axis, priority 1, priority 2. On left side will be bad, right side is good, left side is, I mean, bottom side is again bad, top side is good. So usually good plus good, it should be on the right top quadrant of your this. That's what you have to plot. Put all the logos of your competitors, even if your competitors, for example, if you're doing something related also, you can put them saying if they're not solving the priority, you are on the top. Okay. And decision making unit, you have to come up with decision making unit. So this is last week we had discussed last week. This is same thing you already have in your previous assignment. Just copy paste here and you have to write who are the primary influencer, secondary influencer, who has veto power. This is very important. So what do you mean by all these things? We have discussed in detail in the classes. Please go ahead and look at that. Okay. And then decision making process, you have to sketch what are the decision making process. For example, what you did in full life cycle use case, part of it can be decision making process. You have to just sketch or flowchart. Don't write stories, we don't have time to read. So do sketch so that it's impressive. Use, I have seen amazing sketches of flows. Somebody have written using pencil, somebody have done in canvas and used amazing softwares. So please go ahead and sketch it, don't write it. I've seen few people writing it. Follow on time, I don't want you to actually come up with business, come up with follow on time. No submission is required. This is one of the steps we would be skipping for this class, because that's not too, it's too early to actually do it at this right point of time, and doing it virtually will be tough. Step 15 is your business model. So design your business model. I've given, so you can refer a slide and you can say what business model it is. Write in terms of points. Don't write in terms of uh, what do you mean? Don't use text and so on and so forth. Use just saying freemium model and why do you think it is freemium. Don't I would say write in terms of 3 to 5 points only. Why and model, which model it is, and why is what I want. Okay, so which you have to write here. Sales process. Sales process is your next step. Uh, 18. Step 18. So I'll tell you this. I'll put it at the end. Once you have so sales process, you have to come up with 18. What is your, this is your 15. What is your 16 step? Step 16 is LTV. Sorry, step 17 is LTV. Step 16 is step 16 is pricing framework. This is very simple, one word submission. I mean, one sentence submission. And this is step 19. You have to do it. So try to finish all of them. I'll give you very simple tables and to do it. I'll arrange this and I'll give you. But let's see some of the examples which I want to show you. So the one which I am sure competitive positioning, you can do it. Decision making unit, you can do it. Decision making process, you can do it. Follow on time, no submissions. Business model, you can do it. I'll show you pricing framework also. I'll have some questions for you and you have to just answer them. How much would be the price, on what basis you have decided? Very simple. How much is your product price, selling price? I'll ask both product cost, price, and selling price. On what basis you have decided it? Answer only in terms of points. Only in points. Maximum 4 to 5 points. Okay, so cost of customer acquisition, I'll show you. LTV, I'll show you, and the graph. Sales mapping process, I'll put some questions. Process, long, short term, medium term, and long term. Okay, I'll put this and I'll give you a proper format. Now let's see some of the examples which I want to show you, how your deliverable table will look like. Okay, the table right here I can see is this. Yeah. So this is a table which I want you guys to actually check. First is sales process worksheet, sales and marketing. What will be a short term, what will be medium term and long term? For marketing, what will be short term, medium term and long term? I'll make this even more simpler. You will be checking all of them. These are nothing but in terms of dollars you have to put. Okay, not in terms of writing. Writing you have already put somewhere, here in terms of dollars. Next is lifetime value of customers. There are some questions you have to again put in dollars here. T0, that is today, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. How many years you should calculate? Usually it will be for 5 years. Any company is expected to leave at least for 5 years rather than bringing a new product or bringing a new company. It's usually good time to have. So these are some of the things which you are supposed to write. And next is estimating the COCA. COCA, cost of customer acquisition. Year 1 may be high, year 4 and 5 may be 0. All sales, marketing, total. Whenever you do this, consider, go back to the slides and see if you have considered all of them. And short-term COCA, medium-term COCA, and things like that. Next is plot your LTV and COCA. So if you see here, one example is already given. You have to plot it. LTV is this. Sorry, LTV is this. How much revenue you're making. It can be constant. Usually it will be exponential. Constant is not good idea, but cost of customer acquisition will be reduced like this. This graph. Team responsibilities I won't give you. So this is the template I'll be sharing. I'll be reducing to maximum chunks so that only relevant things you'll fill it, not the exact. I mean, for your future, when you become entrepreneur, you'll need in detail. But let's come to LTV calculation. So if you want to do LTV calculations, these are some of the templates given for you. You have to fill this template. Example one is given here. They have already filled some of the things. Example two is there. Example three is there, and so on and so forth. So you can just check these examples. You will get to know how many. So try to fill in dollars, because why dollars? Why not Indian rupees? Only reason is whenever you want to go global, again, you have to do conversions, and all your investors easily can understand dollars and as well as rupees. So whenever you're doing it, do use the same constant currency, either dollars or rupees, but I prefer dollars, but you may be preferring rupees also, because the pitch which you will be doing end of the semester, it will be global people. So examiners will be somewhere from the world. So for them, it's easier for dollars, but it's left to you. But if you are able to in final pitch, I want you to put in both so that you can, the concerned people can understand. Next is COCA. So COCA, see, this is one of the thing which I use for my own company long back. So how is the sales and marketing expenses? How much I've written here and for what? And then estimate the COCA I have written. First year, I don't have cost of acquisition for new customers. All sales period, no, because there are no sales. What will I do? Money, I mean, where will I invest for COCA? And all marketing expenses were huge. Marketing expenses were huge. Later, if you see, these are the things which I put. And then finally, I have put for short term, long term, and medium term. And once I plotted, the plot was looking like this. For first year, second year, it was like this. And for this year, this was little ambitious, but yeah, we wanted to show something really good. Okay. So these are some of the Excel sheet I wanted to show it to you guys. Any questions before we close the session? I will open the breakout rooms, and then you can go have fun and then leave the class. But any questions so far? Do we have any questions? No questions? Hello, are you guys there? If you have questions, you can raise your hand. I'll unmute you, or you can unmute yourself as well. I will enable that. Yeah. So you can unmute yourself and ask questions if you have. Who is that? Vignesh? Sir, do we read? Okay, well, there is some question which I can't see. Just a sec. Yeah. So do we need to write all the three terms? What do you mean by all three terms? I didn't get. Kavya, can you tell me what do you mean by three term? Yeah, short term, medium, and long term. Yes, you should do it. So short term is for few weeks, or it can be for a few months or 1 year. Long, middle term, medium term is for few, maybe 2-3 years, and long term is after 4 years or 5 years. So you should know how much you are spending for this year. That financial projection is very important. When you go to investor, they'll ask you LTV and COCA. If they are asking, that means that they're serious about investing in your company. Okay. So have this financial projections, very important. Any other questions? No questions?